Now, reports suggest that Tripoli has seen the worst bloodshed since the beginning of the uprising. So, if Gaddafi is weak and cornered, as they claim, how come there's still such strong resistance at the moment?
Oh, I don't think it's really strong resistance, but Gaddafi has always a lot of people going to help him because, you know, most of the tribe of the Western Libya, they are not with Gaddafi, but they are not against Gaddafi. For the past month, they have been very boring with the NATO bombings, and because they say the population are protected in the Eastern Libya and we are not protected. So they have received a lot of money from the Western intelligence service not to move. This is why they don't take any action against Gaddafi, but they were not involved with the insurgents for the past weeks.
So what happens next then, Eric, if Gaddafi does go? Would the loyalists see that there's no future for them and put down their arms, or could we see prolonged guerrilla warfare there?
No, I don't think so. Of course, we can have some guerrilla warfare in the coming month, but I think that Gaddafi is no longer the problem. The problem is the chaos who is going to happen in the coming weeks, because all the problem between the tribe, the people who want to have the power, and also the problem between the Western and Eastern Libya are going to increase step by step, and I'm afraid that from the mid-September, the situation is going to be very, very worse.
So you don't think the NTC will, obviously united in opposition against Gaddafi, will be able to retain that unity?
No, the National Transitional Council has no means to control Libya, because most of the people of the NTC are members of the Eastern Libya. They are absolutely not representative of the countries, and I'm afraid if the United Nations don't send people there to protect the unity of the country, we're going to see very quickly a partition and a real very, very bad situation.
Look, you were there, though, in Libya, just a couple of weeks ago, and you were engaged, I understand, in work over the draft of a new constitution. That sounds quite optimistic to me. I mean, if you're doing that, does that not suggest that the people will be getting what they've been fighting for?
I'm not sure of that, because I know that the people, they don't know why they're fighting for. They have all the different group of the CNT and the Libyan people are fighting for different reasons. The people from Eastern Libya want to find again their autonomy compared from Tripoli. You have also the Islamists of the Islamic fighting group who want to create a new emirate, radical Islamic emirate in Libya. You have so many different motivation in this organization, and that it's impossible for the council to be a responsible government of a divided country.
And also, if you are involved in a new constitution, are you concerned? Well, you've been involved in the translation of it. But what about it being implemented and actually being enforced? I'm talking about law and order with a police force, for example, and proper law and order.
Yes, but concerning the new constitution, something is more important, in my opinion, and the fact that the article number 1 of the chart of the council expressly declare that the Sharia will be the source of the juridical system of the future Libya. On one side, you have people who are talking about election, about democracy, about freedom, but on the other side, they are going back to the strongest position concerning radical Islamists. So I think it's very, very, very worrying.
And of course, Sharia law, elements of which is exactly what the West wouldn't want to see there in Libya.
No, I don't want the West want that kind of situation, but I think the problem is coming from the U.S. policy, because we used to say in France that they have a secret agreement with the people from the jihadists from Libya, and the oil is for us and the Sharia is for you. So they really want them to get back to Libya because they prefer to have the Islamists in Libya than in Iraq, and they accept that they do what they want to do in Libya. Just one condition: they want to have all the oil and the petrol.
You mentioned the US there. Latest media reports at the moment that we're reading are suggesting that Gaddafi had actually been seeking a diplomatic solution in fear of a full-scale US invasion quite a while ago. And apparently his efforts for dialogue were actually ignored by Washington. Do you see any credence in that? And if so, why would Washington ignore it?
Well, it's very difficult to say, because you have so many different actors in the U.S. policy. We don't know exactly who take the lead. I don't think it's the CIA. It's probably State Department of the White House. They have different opinion on this crisis, as we have in France also. But we believe that they decided not to support Gaddafi maybe 2 years ago, and they prepare step by step the situation that we are faced now.
I want to ask you, there you are in France yourself. What do you make of the French involvement in all of this, and in what way does it hope to benefit in the long run?
I don't know. I think if the situation is going to be, if the situation would be a good situation, I think it could have been a very good operation for President Sarkozy. But my opinion is that the French operation was only, how can I say, only drive by the personal interest of President Sarkozy to be re-elected in 2012. But we don't have really strategic interest to get involved into Libya this way.
And just briefly, with France's involvement with NATO, of course, spearheading that campaign, well, although it's not all over yet, can this be regarded as a victory for NATO?
Yes, it's a military victory for NATO. I say it's a technically, tactically, and politically a victory for NATO. But in my opinion, it's strategically speaking, it's a defeat, because we have been totally. I'm looking for the word. NATO didn't respect the international law, and from the beginning, they decide not to respect the resolution, the United Nations resolution, and so I think when you travel in in Northern Africa, in the third world, more and more you have people who are exasperated with the way that the Western countries are doing whatever they want with the international law.
Eric, really good to talk to you. Thanks so much for your considered thoughts on this. Eric Denece, the director and founder of the French Centre for Intelligence Studies, joining us live there in France. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.